Welcome to this video about credit limit rules and credit limits in CreditSafe Connect for Business Central. Um, we are going to look at the credit limit rules, which defines the logic on how to do updates of credit limits. But before we go into this functionality, first of all, let's take a look at the setup that we have on the data sources. And I will be using the global data source in this demo. Take a look at the customer vendor integration setup that we have here. And here we can decide if we want some kind of integration with of the credit limit or not. The blank is no integration at all. The direct, that means that we will automatically update customers with changes of credit limit, or we can use the indirect method, which will create a suggestion for changes that you can manually approve. And this is a field where you can just cut off a percentage initially from the numbers that you get from CreditSafe. And the numbers that we get from CreditSafe, but that is a part of the report data. If you look at some existing data that I have here, let's take this company here. We probably have some, we have 10,000 in credit limit. This is a value that we get from CreditSafe. It's in Norwegian krona. It's a calculation of the credit limit that CreditSafe suggests. And well, maybe we can use that as is, or we can implement rules in Business Central um, based on ranking and the gross revenue and so forth. So let's go and take a look at that. So back to the credit limit rules. So they can be generic regardless of customer, or we can have customer specific. We will come back to the customer specific rules later on. And then we can set up rules based on country code, what type of object, that is company, person, subtype. At least in Sweden, we can have different company types. We can use the industry code, and we can use the ranking. So in my setup here, I have 3 different rules for companies with ranking code A, the highest, the very low risk, and I have them split on the gross revenue. And a company with an A ranking up to below 2 million in local currency will have a maximum credit limit of 20,000. It can be fixed, but the maximum will mean that if CreditSafe suggests a number lower than 20,000, we will use the CreditSafe numbers. And we can also, since we are dealing with local currencies here, but we get data in foreign currencies, we can implement rounding methods so we don't get suggestion on changes just because our exchange rate has changed. Okay, so let's take a look at one example. I will search in CreditSafe for a company in Norway. They will ship in the city Mo i Rana in Norway. Just search and use the Mo Shipping Agency as an example. So let's just go ahead and create the customer. We could, of course, well, we can look at the report data and see what we are dealing with here. This is an A rank customer. CreditSafe is suggesting 785,000. And I think somewhere we have the revenue, but okay. Let's go ahead and create the customer and see what happens. The credit check was done on the data that I downloaded previously. we got the suggestion on the credit card. Even though I have the indirect method specified, when we create a new customer, we give that the calculated credit limit as a suggestion on the customer card. So we get that together with all the other data from CreditSafe. And in the fact box, we can see this gross revenue and credit limit suggested by CreditSafe, which is in NOK, Norwegian. And the limit here is in local currency. So we have a currency calculation between those two numbers, ending up with 810,000 on the customer card. So why was that? If you look at the credit limit rules, that revenue, it was a high revenue. So we ended up on this line here, where we have a maximum of 900,000 and we got this 810. So what if I change this to like, I change my rule to 700,000 like that. And the next time that we download data, if I pull new data from CreditSafe like this, nothing will change here because we have the indirect method. And if we go to the block limit changes suggestion worksheet, nothing has happened here since I did the report fetch manually. I need to go here and create suggestion lines, but include only new and changed. I can have this done automatically by this scheduled updates. But when we do it, if I want to do it manually, I can do it like this. So now we will get a suggestion of changing from what's currently on the customer card to the new credit limit, 700,000, based on the rule that we changed. Okay, so let's update the customer. I selected customer and go back to the customer card. It now says 700,000. But what if I want to change this? Maybe I have some insurances, insurance company that has approved for me going to like 2 million on this one. Is that 2 million? Yeah. And I want to create a rule type. So when I select fixed or max, it will create a credit limit rule. So let's select fixed. So you can see that we got the credit limit rule amount in local currency, 2 million. This is the flow field based on the limit rule table. So now we can take a look at the credit limit rules, and we will find on here somewhere, yeah, this is the rule that has been created for this new customer, 200,000. So even though CreditSafe will suggest a lower value, we will still use 2 million because that is what our insurance company has agreed with us, that we can invoice this customer and get insurances for up to that amount. So that is how the credit limit rules works in CreditSafe Connect. Thank you for watching.